I truly didn't think that the market could get any crazier than it was in 2021, but boy was I wrong. So welcome to the 2022 spring market in Pennsylvania. Besides the fact that it's spring and the weather was like in the 20s the other day, and this week it's going to be in the 70s, the real estate market has been so tough this year. The inventory levels have reached record low numbers, and in some areas in the Philly suburbs, we are at about 2 weeks worth of inventory, 2 weeks. Interest rates have shot up to the low to mid 4% for a 30-year fix, and in the upper 4% actually for second home and investment loans. Home values are still increasing, even with the increase in mortgage rates, and I honestly don't know if that will end anytime soon. And we're starting to see what could be, and what I think will be, a very serious backlash from buyers who have been waiving home inspections just to get their offer accepted. This is something that I have been watching, and I'll be continuing to monitor throughout the coming years. So let's just sit back, take a deep breath, and break this all down to see what's really going on. So just to give you some perspective, including Philadelphia and the surrounding suburbs, which makes up greater Philadelphia, there are less than 5,000 homes for sale. The population in greater Philadelphia is around 5.7 million people. Of those 5.7 million, I would venture to say that maybe 1 to 3% of them would be in the market to buy a home, which is roughly 57,000 to 171,000 buyers. This just goes to show you that the amount of inventory compared to the amount of prospective buyers in a very large area is exhaustingly low, with really no end in sight. Now, you may be thinking, what is the reason why there's no housing inventory? This is a great question, and one that I'll answer for you. The reason why goes back to 2008 and the housing bubble collapse. Being that it was the worst housing market crash since the Great Depression, many home builders were put out of business when the bottom fell out and they just stopped building homes, right? The new construction market has never fully caught up from that point in time, and millennials, which is the largest generation, they really just started to settle down and buy homes, you know? This is one of the main reasons why we have been experiencing record low inventory levels. On top of this, with the supply chain issues and the cost of building skyrocketing in the past 20 months from COVID, coupled with buyer demand, the problem is just getting worse. And I honestly have no idea when this will change, and some experts predict that we can be in a strong seller's market similar to what we are at right now for the next 3 to 5 years, while home builders try to catch up. So let's talk about interest rates and how much they have gone up this past year. I'm going to share a personal situation with you just to give you some context. Now, my situation isn't like everybody else's, but in September of 2021, my wife and I, we purchased our first vacation home. We got a second home loan, and our interest rate was 2.625%. We knew that in 6 months that we were going to have to refinance the home, but we never expected the rates to go up so high. Now we're in the process of refinancing, and our rate is jumping to 4.75%. That is over 2 full points. And our monthly payment is going up about $300. Now, the second home and investment loan market are different than the normal 30-year fixed rate market, but right now the average rate is in the low to mid 4% range for that 30-year fixed. So if you were in the market to buy a home last summer and you wanted to wait until the market cooled down, you just waited too long. Now, the prices of homes have increased and your purchasing power has decreased unless you were able to save up some more money. In addition to that, your monthly payment for a home has increased a couple $100, which we all know is not ideal. Some experts are still predicting that the rates will increase slightly more, but overall, even in the 4% range, they are still very low. And for those who got hit with a situation like mine, I definitely feel for you. In my current market, which is Chester County, the average home price has increased about 20% in the past 20 months or so. 20%, 2-0. That number to me is still hard to comprehend, but with inventory levels being so low and buyer demand being so high, this simple law of economics has driven prices sky high. With this dramatic increase in prices, we have been experiencing an extreme seller's market. An article came out recently which stated that the Philly suburbs are currently at 2 weeks worth of inventory. So most homes that hit the market will sell within 2 weeks. Sellers are literally listing their homes for like $20, $30, $40, $50,000 or even $100,000 more than they would have last year, and they're getting it. What is really frustrating about this for me is that it is pushing out so many first-time home buyers in this area. First-time home buyers with a limited budget as is for the most part, and with limited funds, they just can't compete with these crazy cash offers that we're seeing, waiving all kinds of inspections, mortgage, contingency, HOA, and all that nonsense, right? And they're also like offering up their firstborn child just to get their offer accepted. It truly saddens me to see such a large portion of buyers being pushed out of the market because they can't compete or afford a home in the area. I keep asking myself and my colleagues when they think we will reach the top for home values, and no one can really say. A home that is selling for $500,000 in this market could potentially be selling for $600,000 in another year or two. As long as the demand stays strong and interest rates are relatively low, we may be in this predicament for a while. The last most important factor that I'm going to talk about today is the effects of waiving home inspections and what that will mean for buyers. In order to get your offer accepted in today's market, you know it, you have to be willing to waive your home inspections. This means that buyers are relying mainly on the seller's disclosure and a short, like 30 or 40 minute walkthrough of the house to feel comfortable buying such a large asset. And it's a used product. Now, you might get lucky and have some sellers perform a pre-listing home inspection, but for the most part, I wouldn't bank on that because they're not gonna do it. The biggest issue here is that you're not properly doing your due diligence when you're buying a home. You need to be aware of any minor or major concerns that is wrong with the home or will pose as an issue years down the road. Even back in 2018, when my wife and I purchased our home, it was a competitive market and we waived inspection contingency just to get the offer accepted. So understanding that hindsight is 2020, I wish that we didn't do that because there have been a lot of issues that have come up the past few years that could have been made known through a home inspection. It is very unfortunate that this is the case for most buyers, so you really have to understand what your true risk tolerance is. When you're making an offer in this market, you should at least try and get a home inspection for informational purposes only, or even a post-settlement home inspection. Another thought would be to bring someone with you on your showing if it's possible that you know that can help you spot out some deficiencies. Maybe they're a contractor of some sort. That way you're not completely blind going into it. I'm actually gonna make a video on this topic specifically and the reasons why waiving inspections is a bad idea and what you can do to potentially protect yourself if you find yourself in this situation. So with all of that being said, this is my advice to you if you're looking to buy a home in this market. I can't speak to every individual's specific circumstance, but I would say that you should only buy a home if you truly have to, unless you're looking at it for investment purposes, in which I believe it's always a good time to buy an investment property. If you are comfortable where you are and you don't necessarily need to buy, then just enjoy your home and the appreciation that you're going to see over the next few years. If you're actively in this market to buy, now more than ever, it's extremely important to be working with a knowledgeable and competent realtor who can help you navigate what's going on. The expertise of a true professional is what will help set you apart from the rest, guaranteed. So do your research ahead of time as much as you can before making an offer. Be wise, make smart decisions, and trust your gut because your intuition is generally spot on. And just ask for help. Ask for help when you need it. Don't feel like you have a bad question because you're buying potentially the largest asset that you will ever buy in your life. So there are no dumb questions when it comes to buying a home. If you need any more information or you want to speak to one of our agents about helping you navigate these tricky waters in the Pennsylvania real estate market, do me a favor, reach out to me below. And if you're an agent, you're thinking about making a change, maybe you're not happy with your brokerage, we would love to chat with you and see if we would be a good fit. So again, just click one of the links below. Look forward to speaking with you and have an awesome day. Take care.